Hello everyone, Maryann here, revealing light tarot, astrology and spirituality. Wherever you are in the world when you're watching, a huge shout out to you. Thank you for your likes, your comments, and welcome to our new subscribers on my last and previous videos. Thank you all to the people that go back, particularly I think new subscribers go back and look at my older videos and come back and tell me and validate them for me. I don't have the time to do that, and it's really heartwarming that people take that time to go and look and see what has transpired, what predictions are correct, and they let me know about that, and I really appreciate that. So thank you to those people who did that. Got a lot to get through this today. I want to first look at the month ahead for VP Kamala Harris. My gosh, that girl is just she's stretching ahead, isn't she? She's really taking it to the MAGAs with, I guess, the most powerful statement one can make. We do not want to go back, and we are looking to the future, not to the past. And of course, that's called progress. It's heartwarming indeed to see the long lines of volunteers of all ages and of all stages and of all locations lining up to volunteer for her campaign. Her momentum is reflected in the polls. I've read that I don't think this is a transitory thing. I think that the time has come. It's a matter of timing. The time has come for Harris to have her movement, because it is a movement now. I had to smile when I saw, I think it might have been in Florida, women with golf carts and the signs, the Harris signs on the front of their golf carts. I mean, the young people getting behind Harris, it really is a relief. And a couple of you have remarked on the relief that people are feeling who are either podcasting on the news, and you can notice the relief in our faces, and absolutely there is relief now. So we'll look at how Harris is going for the month ahead. My previous reading, I think it got lost a bit in the whole momentum, but I just didn't see them, the MAGAs, Trump being able to land a punch. Of course, they're going to go really low. We know that. But it's like it's falling on deaf ears, and that's really what you want to see. So can they stop the momentum? I don't think they can. Also want to look at Trump's comment over the weekend about you just have to turn out and vote this time. After that, we'll fix it so that you don't have to vote. In other words, I will establish that dictatorship that I've been telling everybody that I will establish. Also want to look at do they intend to put forward an alternative slate of electors? Well, of course, you know, Biden and Harris are in power at the time of overseeing the certification process in Congress. It's not Mike Pence anymore. So it didn't work before. It's obviously, you know, not going to be accepted this time. But my feeling is that it would come around from the state levels, perhaps some of those states not certifying their election. It could be that. Will it work? Well, of course, then that all goes to the Supreme Court. And will it work? I don't think it will work, but we'll test some of those theories. I do want to see what Netanyahu, who met with Trump. I, for the life of me, don't understand why this is not against the Logan Act, which prevents those in opposition or ex-presidents, anyone really coming out and doing any kind of foreign dealings with someone like Netanyahu or anyone, Viktor Orban for that matter. Netanyahu travelled to Mar-a-Lago and met with Trump, and they had a round table. And of course, if you notice, VP Harris said at the time of Netanyahu's visit, Israel has a right to defend itself. The way that it defends itself, defends itself matters, and that was the crucial line there. For those that don't know, Netanyahu's troops have just bombed a water tower, the main water tower in Rafah. Why would they do that? Do they think Hamas is swimming around in the middle of the water tower like some kind of scuba divers? No, you understand why these things are being done. It will deprive the population, those that are left in Rafah and beyond, of critical water supplies. Now we have Hezbollah stepping up attacks on Israel. That border war, if you like, has been ongoing, and we've had casualties, civilian casualties on both sides. Now, there's a lot of diplomacy going on at the moment to prevent Israel from invading Lebanon and escalating the regional war. We'll take a look at that as well. So let's get on to the more pleasant stuff, because that's the stuff that is a joy to read on, and the energy behind VP Harris, which I know that you're all caught up in as well. So the polls in the swing states are looking good for Harris. If you can believe the polls, there are some credible and some that are not. But when Fox polls put Harris in front, or neck and neck, in the swing states, then you've got to stand up and listen, because we all know where Fox News's loyalties lie. So let's have a look at Harris in the next month. Show me what you need to show me, Spirit. I'm using the Rider-Waite Tarot. Show me Vice President Harris, Kamala Harris, in August, please. She'll have to go through the virtual roll call. I think I don't think they are proceeding with that to prevent any legal challenges in the future to her nomination. Vice President Harris. Show me Vice President Harris in the coming months. Vice President Harris in the coming months. Sorry, but she's wielding a lightsaber. There's some Jedi stuff going on here. Okay, so the Hermit card. All right, so this is review. This is the dark tunnel. This can be introspection and reflection. It's always darkest before the dawn. And then we have skill. Wow, okay. So here's the energy straight away. We had this this mood of almost, you saw the media, mainstream media capitulating to Trump, particularly at the RNC convention, and I think Tapper said made some sort of criticism and then qualified it with, well, if I can say that, this sort of stuff. And now we have skill. So the month ahead will be getting out and enrolling those people to vote, but also to help with the campaign. She could be going to the more isolated or areas of the US. She could be getting out, or her campaign could be targeting those areas where they may not get that much attention in the past, but there's a great deal of skill being brought to, basically, if I can sum it up, a great deal of skill being brought to getting that hermit down to the end of the tunnel and into the light. And of course, that is also flagging her VP pick. Now, I have to say, some of you picked up on my clairvoyance around the Middle East images with Shapiro. That doesn't mean to say she won't pick him. I did come out by saying Kelly and Shapiro were out in front, but I also don't believe that people like Buttigieg and even Newsom are out of the race yet. I think closer, maybe my next reading will look at them again. All right, let's go to the foundation of the reading. So I really like all this earth energy. It's very practical. It's about bringing in the campaign funds, having everything that you need, lining up your campaign team, your election workers. It's the whole machinery of election, and she's doing it with a great deal of skill and fervour. Let's see what's in the past. There's our bombshell. However, what this is also, this is the young people. We know the young people, I think it's 100,000 have registered to vote. This is a momentum that Trump can't counter. And it's also the bombshell, the surprise. We were all thrown in the last few weeks by events. And I think we're now gathering ourselves and moving forward with this youthful type of refreshing energy that comes in and drives something from behind. But I do see this as the youth vote getting on board. She's mending a lot of fences. Now, that's not just to cast any aspersions on anyone else other than to say that those perhaps people like the Never Trumpers who wanted to see something new, the independents who may have been the uncommitted because of the Netanyahu Gaza situation, all of that, she's bringing people back in to the tent. What's in the sky? Okay, so we get the Tower card. We'll see what that might mean. Now, the Tower is in the sky, talks about lightning quick change. And this is the energy of Uranus, Mars, and Algol that led to the events of the last few weeks for both candidates, both previous candidate President Biden and to the current opposition candidate Donald Trump, and to the events that saw VP Harris then catapulted. This energy means that anything can and will happen. It's not detracting from her, it's the environment. And if you look at my readings, I have been speaking of that volatility for quite some time. There's volatility around Trump as well. There's volatility around J.D. Vance. Many are looking at legally whether or not he can get rid of Vance. It is this kind of energy. So we've got the Tower card. We'll draw a clarifier on that. Now we have here in the immediate future, we have a reset. It's a stepping back and a reset. We'll look at what that might be. In the here and now, we've got plenty of campaign funds coming in. And here she is with her really, her Queen of Swords. That's her. It's her pragmatism. It's her logic. It's her striding forward with a great deal of clarity. It's clarity now that people have. They didn't have clarity before. They now have clarity. Let's see, the King of Swords is in the hopes and fears. I mean, this is just stepping up. Great deal of, both the King and the Queen wield the Ace of Swords. Great deal of clarity and clear-mindedness there. And then we have the Sun. So whatever that Four of Swords and the Tower card is, what's crowning the reading, and maybe a stepping back or some kind of setback. That could be someone challenging her, for example, from within the Democratic Party. I don't know. We'll see what that is. But the final outcome is the most powerful card in the tarot, to my way of thinking, and in astrology. The sun is at the center of our universe. That is the outcome card. It is happiness, it is joy, it is strength. It's all the good things. And we get moving out of troubled waters. Okay, I know what the Tower is. Okay, so decision time. And here she is. Many times I see on Twitter young, middle-aged to young men who'd voted for Trump in 2020, at all ages, and who are saying, I'm not doing it again, I'm voting for Harris. And really, this is why, just take a look at these outcome cards. This is why we get the Sun, the Six of Swords, moving out of troubled waters, the decisions that people will be making, and there we get her triumphant there. She's got a lot of fire in her chart, as I said. Now, the base of the pack is the Moon card. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. This is the underlying energy, weighing things up. This is how people were feeling and then going for it. because there's some kind of truth that has occurred. There we get the Three of Pentacles coming together and the Star card. There is hope yet again. Now, I'm going to draw and see what this Tower, why the Tower card is here. Tower is restructuring. It doesn't necessarily have to be all doom and gloom. It's lightning restructurers. So let's see what the Tower is about, and then we'll look at that Four of Swords. Why is the Tower here, please? She's going to have a good month, basically. She's going to increase. More and more people are going to make the decision and sign up with her, with their intention to vote for her. All right, what is this Tower card? I think it's around the Emperor, control. Yeah, the President, and then we get the Hermit card. So there are still people that probably aren't on board with Biden not being the candidate. But this seems to be relating. Oh, okay, there's Trump, and then the King of Wands. So I think this could be relating to legal challenges. They won't go anywhere. It's not going to stop the momentum, but I think this is what Trump's going to do. They're probably looking around for some stooge Democrat that feels that they're hard done by, and they're willing to put their name to a lawsuit to try and stop Harris being the candidate. Yes, they've put that complaint into the FEC. That's not it. I think there's something else coming. It's a plan of some sort. So that's only potential. That's only potentially. Now, I do want to say, please don't worry. I've listened to your Democrats' top lawyer, Mark Elias. 0.0000 chance of that lawsuit working. Show me the Four of Swords. Show me the Four of Swords. Page of Wands. Okay, Page of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Okay, so they've got some kind of, yeah. Okay, so this is relating to Harris taking over from Biden. They're going to be ramping up some kind of lawsuit which isn't going to work, but it will try and detract from Harris. Now, I want to say that VP Harris was nothing but a loyal deputy to President Biden, and she did have his back, and people know that. All right, so I think that's what's going to be. The momentum continues, but expect them to try and use the courts through some kind of Democrat that wants to come forward and have standing enough to take their suit forward, which they will fund. All right, so it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Save your money, MAGAs. It ain't going to work. All right, so let's have a look at. Let's take a look at what on earth was he talking about? What on earth was Trump talking about when he said, you only have to vote in this election, then we'll fix it and you won't have to vote anymore? What was Trump talking about? What was Trump talking about? Was he talking about establishing a dictatorship? Was Trump talking about establishing a dictatorship when he said to Republicans they won't need to vote after this election? What was he talking about? Okay, so we get the Star card, odd card, but anyway, and then we get the Eight of Pentacles. All right, let's keep going, and there's the Tower card. Okay, so, yeah, they do have something planned. Let's keep going. We get the Three of Swords in the past, and then moderation. Also, these cards are giving you a message that while all this volatility is going on, you still have the events of the last couple of weeks. You still have a great deal of skill and momentum, and the Hope card there. And crowning this reading in it really as a way to put into context the Tower card, the things that are going to happen over the next few months as the Republicans try everything to try and steal this election. You have moderation and balance crowning. And so that is a really nice balance in this volatile time. So we have insecurity. Okay, so he's insecure. When he says these sorts of things, does he actually have the power to do it? Well, he's got to win this election first before he can do that. This is born out of his insecurity and his own internal volatility, defending oneself. It's almost like I still have control, but of course he doesn't. The King of Swords, again, the lawlessness. It's all these things we see. And then we have, in the hope and fear, we have the Queen of Wands. Now, Project 2025 does a lot of ill to a lot of groups of people, but also to women and their rights, their freedoms, and that is in the hope and fear. There's this underlying fear around women's rights and women getting too far ahead and women taking things away. There's all this fear stuff going on here. It's really in these cards. And when there is that, there is this, they bring forward their own tower moment in the way that they're doing things. Because the universe will always strive for evenness, will always strive for moderation, temperance and healing. It doesn't exist in this it only temporarily exists in this state. And so when I see the hopes and fears, the Queen of Wands is a good card. And then we get the Lovers. So, no, this was more about playing to the cult. And it was also a dog whistle in a way to the men. And also an underhanded way of saying we're working on it. Okay, so we get circles of support, King of Wands. Okay, so there's lawmakers here, the courts, and stopping something. So I can't see that did any good to anyone else but the other side, to Harris's campaign. I don't see it as a reality. He can't pull this off unless he's elected. What did he intend? He might intend to, in his head, create a dictatorship. The universe will always have the last say. And so really, if we've learnt nothing else, the events of the last few weeks, I frame in a spiritual way. If we've learnt nothing else, it's the universe will always have the last say. So that comment he made, well, he can intend to do anything he wants to do, but the fact of the matter is he can't. Okay, so all sorts of things would have to be overturned in terms of the Constitution, etc. And I'm going to say even Vladimir Putin holds rigged elections in Russia. So a time when there would be no elections in the United States, not where I can see, not as far as I can see. All right, so let's go to, all right, is the plan for some states not to certify the election? Are red states is the overarching devious Mr. X type plan, if it wasn't so serious, is this plan to not to certify the election at the state level? Is this Trump plan, Trump and MAGA plan, Project 25 plan, not to certify the election at the state level, perhaps to alleged anomalies? Do the red states, will all the red states certify the election? Will all the red states certify the election? I think that's where the trouble is going to come. So we have the Queen of Swords, and then we have the Devil. Okay, so yeah, they're going to try, and what you'll see in the coming weeks is a whole bunch of legal stuff around her candidacy, but also in relation to my question, this is where it's at. Some red states will not certify. I don't know. That's a legal battle there in itself. King of Pentacles is in the past. The Moon card. Okay, so that's the plan that's underneath the surface. And then we have the Sun card. The Hierophant, it'll go to the Supreme Court, obviously. And then we get the Chariot. So these are all the legal, throwing as many spanners in the works as they possibly can. This is around the ballot too. This is around the ballot. Whose names are on the ballot? It's just not going to work. They might have that intention. It's not going to work. And then we have the Magician card and the Ace of Pentacles. So yeah, these are court cases. You see there's your card. Expect a lot of litigation, but it's going to start now. It's going to start around whether some Democrat is going to have standing and take that forward. It's going to be whether her name or Biden's name should be on the ballot. You'll see the argy-bargy at these more obnoxious red states that try and take the law into their own hands. There will be, I hope Mark Elias has cleared his diary, because there's going to be a lot of that, and it's going to go right up until next year. You think of the way that Trump has done the court right the way to the Supreme Court. I know you're asking, will the Supreme Court crumble and fall into line with Trump? No, they won't. I've read on that before. I'll do a fuller reading on that later. I want you to know that I see the Democrats in power in 2025. This is the last gasp. He goes away after this. All right, so let's go to Netanyahu. My goodness me. Talk about setting President Biden up for a foreign policy failure. That's exactly what Netanyahu, Trump and Putin accomplished for their own ends as well, for their own selfish, greedy political ends as well. All right, so let's show me clearly, please. What did Netanyahu and Trump really talk about behind the scenes when Netanyahu went to Mar-a-Lago? What did Netanyahu and Trump talk about? What did Netanyahu... So they have something... Okay, so they have something planned. It's not something I can get to yet. Why can't you show me that? I just see something like the lid is on something. Can you show me what they have planned? Show me what they have planned. Netanyahu and Trump, what have they got planned? Okay, so we get anxiety. And then we get Kamala Harris, VP Harris. Wow, both of them are very anxious about Harris. No wonder Netanyahu took the pot shot there. The Wheel of Fortune, gain. How can I be fortunate? Where do I get my payoffs? The Wheel of Fortune, change, fortune coming into their favour. I think this is post. They talked about what Netanyahu could get post 2024 election if Trump was in power. There were plans there around profiteering. We get the King of Pentacles is in the past. You see how the universe keeps saying he's in the past. He's not in the future. We get the Six of Pentacles, loans and debts, giving and receiving help. So how Trump could help Netanyahu in the future and how Netanyahu can help Trump. Wow. You think that it was all above board? That meeting was all above board? Come on. So we've got coming together. Now remember, Israel has the very powerful spy agency in Mossad. We've got some kind of intelligence here being mobilized. Absolutely. This is Mossad in some ways more capable than the CIA. Goodness gracious. He delivered some information to Trump. Hopes and fears, moving out of troubled waters, moving on, moving the Palestinians on, out of Gaza. And then we get the Hermit card, isolation, weighing things up and decision making, and then we get Biden. So the plan was always to weaken Biden. We've got death, we've got the Hanged Man, something coming to fruition in time, and there's the big money. I told you when this first broke out that Netanyahu was aiding Trump's re-election. One of the single biggest issues that went against the President Biden, who did all he could at that time, was in the way that he could do it, within the constraints of how he could do it, was to weaken the Democratic base and drive them away from Biden. It actually worked. Now Harris is in the game. Not working anymore, is it? That's what that whole event was about. That is the evil of these people that would sacrifice not only their own people, but other innocent civilians as well, on such a scale. That is the depth and breadth of the evil. You know it. I don't have to tell you. All right, let's have a look at Hezbollah. And, I mean, this would be, again, drag the Biden-Harris regime into another regional conflict in the Middle East. You see how diabolical it actually gets. You see why these people need to be beaten, and beaten well. Beaten for all time. Okay. So there very much is about, if you haven't noticed already, there's very much a battle between stability, what's right, what's moral, what's ethical. I'm not saying politicians are free from detraction or what I'm saying is that what we've seen with Trump and Putin, Netanyahu, takes us to a new low, takes us to something that we may have seen around World War II, that kind of energy. And so when I see the momentum in America, when you see it, it's a good day. All right, let's go to Lebanon and Hezbollah. Will Netanyahu invade Lebanon? Will Netanyahu invade Lebanon? I hope not, but will he invade Lebanon? Will Netanyahu invade Lebanon? No wonder President Biden aged so dramatically. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles, resources and money. Okay, it's the currency. It's the currency of everything, isn't it? This is what they spoke about in Trump's meeting. I'm afraid they might. I'm afraid they will. The Three of Wands, and you never know who's fighting on whose side. You never know, just as in my comments section, you never know who's a troll, who's not. You never know who's doing things, who's to provoke certain things because they've been paid off. The Three of Wands in the past, the Ten of Cups, the families. Of course, it's always the families, and they want and Russia's in the mix here as well. Russia's always been in the mix here with Netanyahu and Trump. I'm afraid they will at this point. We've got new starts. They see this again as creating confusion, illusion, putting the pressure on Harris and Biden, the Biden-Harris, undermining their strength. And there we get in whose aid is this for? So Trump can become the president. And because they're having to resort to very desperate measures, and yes, more innocent people will be killed. This is not a conspiracy theory. We are watching in real time these events playing out. Now, having said all of that, it is the way that leaders respond to this Machiavellian evilness that matters. And these cards tell me they are afraid of Harris's leadership. And so they become more and more desperate. So watch for regional Middle East conflicts to accelerate. Watch for litigation via some Democrat that they find around that nomination. Watch for legal battles, perhaps states, red states, some states not certifying, so we don't even get to the full slate of elector position. We get it can't. It's at the state level. Legal battles right up into 2025, and know that none of it is going to work. At the end of the day, it's going to be very volatile, but none of it is going to work. Because more and more independents, you just look at the numbers. I don't even have to predict. Well, I did predict a few weeks ago. At the end of the day, the momentum for Harris will not stop, and it's going to really come forward in August, despite all the crap that they throw. That's all you need to know. Bye for now.